Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Secrets of the Stones. On a winter's night like the one we are experiencing now, you can see the Big Dipper clearly in the sky. The Big Dipper is an asterism formed by 7 stars. An asterism is a star system that is part of another constellation. In this case, that constellation is Ursa Major, also known as the Great Bear, the Northern Ladle, and the Plough. Here's an image of the constellation Ursa Major as it appears in mid-February, and it is part of a larger constellation. Ursa Major includes 2 invisible stars known as the 2 assistant stars. They are named Alcor A and Alcor B. The names of the stars in the Big Dipper, starting from the handle, from the left to right, are Alcade, Mizar Alcor, and Alioth. These stars form the handle. Megrez, Fecta, Merak, and Dube form Dube, I don't know if I'm saying that right, form the bowl. The Big Dipper is always visible because it is circumpolar, meaning it lies in the same direction as the celestial North Pole. The stars of the Big Dipper point to and circulate around the pole star, which is known as Polaris. Polaris has a fixed point very close to the North Celestial Pole, which is technically the center of the stars. The Chinese marked this star as the center of the sky and the center of the universe. It can be seen from anywhere, at any location on Earth. In the northern hemisphere, pictured on the left, the stars rotate counterclockwise around the pole star. If you are on the equator, they go straight overhead in the middle and curve left or right. And if you are in the southern hemisphere, the stars rotate clockwise around the southern celestial pole. In ancient times, the Big Dipper was seen as a giant clock in the heavens. The 8 trigrams of the I Ching were arranged in the shape of a compass and given associations with the natural world. The Big Dipper was seen as the guiding force behind these changes, and it was overlaid on top of this compass of trigrams, which represent the earthly field. The Big Dipper would represent the heavenly field, and they are known as the flying stars in Feng Shui. The cyclical nature of these stars made it possible to predict future influences in the environment. Here we see the hexagrams of the I Ching arranged according to the elements that they represent. The 5 elements are water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. And it should be noted that earth is always in the center because earth represents man. Since these influences are governed by the 5 basic elementary energies, they can be manipulated by those same forces. And that is a foundational concept of Feng Shui. In flying star Feng Shui systems, time is divided into 180-year cycles. Each cycle is divided into 3 60-year periods known as upper, middle, and lower. And each period is divided into 3 ages of 20 years. It seems that we are now at the beginning of period 9, which is the third 20-year cycle in a greater 60-year cycle and an even greater 180-year cycle. Period 8, which began in 2004, is expected to conclude in 2023. Period 8 is symbolized by the Kun trigram, represented by the mountain, young men, and the earth element. Period 9 is the ninth 20-year period in the 180-year cycle. Period 9 is said to begin on the Lunar New Year, February 24th, and last until 2033. This new moon will signal the year of the dragon. Period 9 will be governed by the ninth star, which is one of the hidden stars, Alcor A or Alcor B. I'm not sure which one. It is known as the auspicious purple star. Period 9 will fall under the influence of the southernmost trigram, Li, which represents fire, middle-aged women, and the south. However, due to the incremental shifts in the Earth's axis during the precession of the equinoxes, some practitioners believe that this 20-year cycle may be off by a few years. Some Feng Shui practitioners view the Great Conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn as the true astrological event marking the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. A great conjunction occurs when Jupiter and Saturn, the two slowest moving planets in our solar system, appear closest together in the sky. These conjunctions take place every 19 or 20 years, when Jupiter overtakes Saturn in its orbit. Jupiter, for reference, takes around 12 years to complete its orbit around the Sun, and Saturn takes 29.4 years, or around there. The last great conjunction took place on December 21st, 2020. The two planets were 0.1 degrees apart, which is the closest they had been in nearly 800 years. And the conjunction before that was placed to where it took place behind the Sun, and so it wasn't even visible from Earth. So this is the first time in more than 800 years, which is the time of Marco Polo, that we've been able to see this conjunction. And if the novel Feng Shui practitioners are correct, a new cycle has already begun. Incidentally, the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter was seen by some to be the Christmas star, and it has connotations with earthly events. It's sort of a sign that mankind has gathered around and viewed with some reverence and awe. And these changes, they seem to have already taken place because you can feel the shifts that have occurred in terms of technology and how we're now working from home and how we're prioritizing on a collective level different things in the world. But anyway, the 9 stars in Flying Star Feng Shui represent the energies that we feel on Earth that reflect the 7 real astronomical stars of the Big Dipper. They represent 9 types of subtle and abstract influences affecting our lives through time and space. And just like all the other stars, their influence cycles through time. They change with time and their impact is directional. For centuries, travelers have been guided by the Big Dipper and the North Star. Ancient Daoist practitioners believed these stars could guide people on a spiritual journey. Their unwavering position in the sky was said to offer guidance to travelers on Earth and spiritual dimensions alike. And here there are some rituals associated with the Big Dipper, so let's explore what. The first I would like to talk about are the paces of Yu. Yu the Great was the legendary founder of the Xia dynasty, who was said to have gone lame on one side of his body while attempting to control a great flood. In some stories, Yu could transform into a bear, predict the weather, and change the course of rivers. He is the first man, the one who separated heaven and earth, the one who started the human lineage. He is the first shaman, the first to teach people in the secrets of spirits, gods, and nature. According to early Chinese mythological and historical texts, a great flood inundated China during the reign of Emperor Yao. Yao appointed Yu's father, Gun, to control the floods, and he spent 9 years constructing dams, which collapsed and killed many people. After reigning for 1 century, Yao abdicated the throne to Shun, who was the last of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. Shun then either fired or killed Gun, Yu's father, and Yu was appointed to replace him. Yu the Great devised a successful flood control system by undamming the rivers, dredging the riverbeds, and constructing canals. In fighting the floods for 13 years, he sacrificed his body, resulting in partial paralysis on one side. When Shun abdicated the throne to Yu, he founded the Xia dynasty. It is said that while in search of a solution for the Great Flood, Yu came across a turtle with strange markings on its back. Here is an excerpt from the Great Treatise Commentary to the I Ching regarding this discovery. Heaven creates divine things. The holy sage takes them as models. Heaven and earth change and transform. The holy sage imitates them. In the heavens hang images that reveal good fortune and misfortune. The holy sage reproduces these. The yellow river brought forth a map, and the low river brought forth a writing. The holy men took these as models. These markings on the sacred turtle became the Lo Shu, a 3x3 grid of dots representing the numbers 1 through 9. Here is the current period's Lo Shu square, but it should be noted that 5 is usually in the center. These numbers trace the pattern of the Big Dipper and the way they are arranged consecutively in this square. The Lo Shu is also known as the Jiu Gong Tu. I hope I'm saying that right. The 9 halls diagram, and it is central to Chinese fortune telling and feng shui. Yu is said to have used the Lo Shu to divide ancient China into 9 provinces. The sum in each of the rows of the Lo Shu, columns and diagonals, equal to 15, which is the number of days in each of the 24 solar terms in the traditional Chinese calendar. The steps of Yu dance is thought to ritually imitate Yu's lamely walking through the 9 provinces, stopping the floods, and restoring the order and blessing of nature. In the diagram to the right, you can see the steps they trace of the Big Dipper. The ritual involves pacing an inwardly spiraling circular pattern while dragging one foot behind the other in imitation of the limp adopted by Yu the Great after quelling the world flood. Daoist religions, especially during the 6 Dynasties period, incorporated the paces of Yu into rituals, such as the Bugang, Pace the Big Dipper, in which a Taoist priest would symbolically walk the 9 stars of the Baido, the Big Dipper, in order to acquire the constellation's supernatural energy. The pattern Yu traced with his dancing was an invocation to the gods of the heavens. Here we see a link with Tai Chi, the notion that a pattern of steps performed ritually can connect the dancer to a greater reality, that a body moving through space can become a conduit for forces, a link between heaven and earth. Yet another Taoist meditation exists surrounding the Big Dipper, and it is called Circulating the Microcosmic Orbit. If you've heard of the Taoist practitioner Manitak Chia, I highly recommend his book for learning how to do this meditation. The microcosmic orbit meditation is based on the stars in the constellation of the Big Dipper. It is used for circulating and developing qi in the 3 energy fields known as the elixir fields. The stars in the Big Dipper revolve horizontally around the body. Their placement establishes 3 energetic regions in the lower abdomen, the chest and middle abdomen, and the head. Also known as the 3 treasures, the elixir fields are energy centers where the Jing, essence, Qi, or life force energy, and Shen, or spiritual energy, are cultivated and refined. The 7 white stars in this picture represent the constellation of the Big Dipper superimposed on the body. As the constellation rotates horizontally, 3 of the stars from the back of the body establish points on the front of the body. These stars are pictured here in black. The resulting 10 points establish the 3 elixir fields. The star that is placed at the top of the head is the star in the Big Dipper that always points toward the North Star. This star influences us throughout our lives, guiding us to where we need to be. The North Star can be thought of as a whisper. It is something you hear from time to time. It is a clue or a hint. It offers hints about your destiny or your true wish. The upper dantian is associated with the spirit or Shen. Cultivation of this energy center requires surrender to divine power and renunciation of personal goals in favor of a divine quest. The points associated with the upper elixir field are Ba Hui, which means hundreds of meanings. Ba Hui is located directly between the apex or the highest point of the ears. Yin Tang, Hall of Impression, an extra point located between the eyebrows. And Feng Fu, Palace of Wind, the 16th point of the Governor Meridian, located between the occipital bone and the first cervical vertebra. Tiantu, Celestial Chimney, the 22nd point of the conception vessel, found in the notch at the base of the throat. So the upper elixir field is bound at the base of the throat at Tiantu, Celestial Chimney, and at the crown of the head by Ba Hui, hundreds of meanings. It is said that the point at the neck, Tiantu, is the most difficult when developing the 3 energy fields. The middle dantian is associated with the qi, life force energy, and the ability to interact with the world. It includes the heart, which has a quest to find meaning in life. The heart leads us away from the status quo and causes us to question life in a different way. causes us to entertain fewer delusions about the world around us. The points associated with the middle elixir field are Tian-Tu, celestial chimney, located in the notch at the base of the throat. This is the front point, and the back point associated with this energy center is Great Hammer, Daoist, Governor Vessel 14, located below the 7th cervical vertebra. And the 7th cervical vertebra is the largest vertebra of the spine, which is probably why it is known as the Great Hammer, or Great Vertebra Point. Shanzang, central altar, conception vessel 17, is located on the midline at the level of the 4th intercostal space, which is midway between the two nipples, and on the other side in the back. Ziyang, its corresponding point, reaching Yang, is located below the 7th thoracic vertebra. Zhangwan, central receptacle, or conception vessel 12, is located on the midline of the upper abdomen, halfway between the navel and the junction where the ribs meet the base of the sternum. It can also be located about 1 hand's width above the belly button. On the back, Jizong, center of the spine, governor vessel 6, located in the depression below the spinous process of the 11th thoracic vertebra, forms the basis for this middle dantian energy center. The middle dantian, or middle elixir field, is bound then at the base of the throat at Tian-Tu, celestial chimney, and at the center of the abdomen at Zhangwan, central receptacle. The lower dantian represents the Jing, or essence, the vital energy that we are born with. The Jing is stored in the kidneys. At this level, this level is associated with survival and the tribal archetypes that keep our society functioning smoothly. It is also associated with the propagation of our species. The goal of spiritual practice at this level is to release or refine these physical attachments. The points associated with the lower elixir field are Zhangwan, central receptacle, conception vessel 12, located 1 hand's width above the umbilicus. The next are Shenkuei in the front, spirit's gateway, which is on the umbilicus. It is important to note that this point is never punctured during acupuncture, but you can use moxibustion here. In the back, Mingmen, gate of destiny, is its corresponding point. It is known as governor vessel 4, and it is located beneath the spinous process of the 2nd lumbar vertebra, at the same level as the umbilicus. The final point in the lower dantian is, and the final point of the corresponding points that resonate with the stars of the Big Dipper, is Hui Yin, which is known as meeting of Yin. It is the first point of the conception vessel. It is located at the perineum, midway between the anus and the root of the scrotum in males, and midway between the anus and the posterior labial commissure in females. The lower dantian is bound by the genital region at the bottom and at the center of the abdomen at the top. The lower dantian, also known as the cinnabar field, forms the basis of Qigong practice. Energy can be stored here and used to nourish the vital organs. It might be known as the cinnabar field because it is thought to have a red glow, much like the mineral cinnabar. Qi that is cultivated in the lower dantian is stored in the 2 points on the lower abdomen, known as Guanyan, gate of origin, conception vessel 4, and Qi Hai, sea of Qi, conception vessel 6. Conception vessel 6 is located 2 fingers width below the center of the umbilicus. It is beneficial for nurturing the spleen qi, which forms the basis of the qi we receive from food and the environment after birth. Conception vessel 4 is located 1 hand's width below the center of the umbilicus. It is beneficial for tonifying the yang qi, the warming energy of the kidneys. During the winter solstice, and also during the coldest days of the year, it is beneficial to perform moxibustion on these 2 points. Performing moxibustion during the time of year when yin is growing stronger is said to increase yang qi and also strengthen immunity. It is also believed to prevent illnesses that occur during the summer months. Here is a brand of moxa called Chosekyu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It is available on Amazon. It comes from Japan in the form of convenient stickers. Stick moxa is just as effective and less expensive. Just remember to keep a bowl of water nearby and perform it in a well-ventilated area. Here's one note of caution though. Moxibustion should not be performed during the active phase of a viral infection, such as the common cold. The reason being that it can strengthen the pathogen and prolong an illness. Well, thank you for joining me today on Secrets of the Stones. I've enjoyed talking about the Daoist cosmology surrounding the and the theories surrounding the Big Dipper. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you next time.